The baseball team completed a sweep of Eastern Michigan. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Anna Azelian. Governor Mike DeWine visited OU to promote vaccinating college students, but there may be bumps in the road to achieving that goal. Curtis Fader has the latest.
On April 1st, Governor Mike DeWine announced that Ohio will deploy doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to college campuses so that students can get vaccinated. The reason for Johnson & Johnson is because of having just one dose required for immunization. On Monday, Governor DeWine visited Ohio University's Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine to promote student vaccinations and expressed his support for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
We made the decision that we wanted to vaccinate every college student in the state who wanted the vaccine. And to do that, we knew we really had to take the Johnson & Johnson. Well, all we can do is go by what the experts tell us, and what they tell us is that they have confidence in the Johnson & Johnson.
The very next day, experts from the FDA and CDC revealed some disturbing and potentially fatal side effects from the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Under their recommendations, DeWine changed the vaccine given to students to Pfizer instead. The Pfizer vaccine is fully effective only after 2 doses, and both doses must be given in the same location, so students must verify that they will be in Athens 21 days later in order to get their first shot, and with less than 3 weeks until the end of finals, many Ohio University students will be heading home before the date of their second shot, leaving questions as to how students can sign up for appointments at the university's vaccine clinics. When it comes to requiring students to be vaccinated in order to return in the fall, President of Ohio University Dwayne Nellis is holding off on that approach.
We are strongly encouraging students to be vaccinated and actually having some incentives for students to be vaccinated by fall where they won't then be required to do regular testing. We're looking at the legal aspects of, as a public institution, what we can and can't do.
Governor DeWine is also holding off any official requirements for Ohio businesses and corporations as well.
This is entirely up to employers, whether they do that or they do not do that. The state is not going to mandate anybody get the vaccine, but employers are making their own decisions about that.
Despite these recent events, DeWine remains optimistic about getting Ohio fully vaccinated and back to normal by July 4th. Reporting for WOUB, I'm Curtis Fader.
And because many students won't be able to return to campus for a second dose once the school year ends, OU has identified multiple options for students to get their second dose. One option is traveling back to OU to get your second dose at Heritage Hall if you're able to. Students can also get their second dose by contacting local health departments and vaccine clinics. And if a student got their first dose from somewhere outside of the university, they can get their second dose from the Athens City County Health Department at any time. And in Kentucky, dozens of protesters came out in the rain to protest at the state capitol today. Some people are upset over Governor Beshear's announcement to not lift COVID-19 restrictions until hundreds of thousands more are vaccinated. Beshear announced Monday restrictions will be lifted once a total of 2.5 million are vaccinated. That means about 900,000 more people will have to get the shot. Protest organizers say that's pretty much a vaccine mandate. Organizer Andrew Cooper-Ryder says he thinks to vaccinate 2.5 million, all but 500,000 adults will have to get the shot, and he fears that may not happen for months, if at all. Other protesters like Marty Terry feel as if Governor Beshear and the government are overstepping their legal boundaries.
Because of government overreach from them. He thinks he can give us our freedoms. Our freedoms are inalienable. And he can't say, if you get this, you can have your freedoms back. There are freedoms. And he swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of Kentucky and the United States, and he's in total violation of it.
The governor's office released a statement about the protests. It said in order to end the pandemic, Americans need to get vaccinated. Organizers are planning another protest on Sunday. And now let's take a look at your local weather with Nicholas.
Well, we started out fairly gloomy today with morning rain showers, but we did clear out a little bit this afternoon as skies are clearing. Mostly cloudy skies still hang over. However, 54 is the current temperature in Athens. Humidity is still up there at 70%. Winds are out of the southwest at 7 miles an hour, and all across the area temperatures are just generally that same cool 50-degree temperatures all across the area. Mainly sunny out west, but raining still further down south and east as well. So it's still gloomy down in the south and east. That's going to be the weather story for the next couple of days as we see the headlines for the next couple of days. We're going to remain gloomy. Cloudy skies remain, and then a chance of weekend rain coming in. We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast in just a couple of minutes. Anna?
Thanks, Nicholas. A federal court had upheld an Ohio law prohibiting doctors from performing abortions based on a fetal diagnosis of Down syndrome. The ruling came yesterday after the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals overturned lower court rulings. The rulings were part of a case brought by the ACLU against the State Health Department, State Medical Board, and county prosecutors in 2018 on behalf of Planned Parenthood and several other abortion providers. The lower courts ruled that the ACLU's argument that the law infringes on a woman's constitutional right about the decision to have an abortion. The Derek Chauvin trial receives medical testimony, and President Biden plans a historic military withdrawal. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
We were just trying to be scientists.
There's a playbook, and it was written by men.
You get used to being invisible.
Being left off an email, not being invited to a collaboration where you're the clear expert.
It was bullying.
How many great discoveries have just been lost to us because we didn't have the eyes to see?
Picture a scientist on Nova.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 2. There are many more exciting appraisals to revisit from our 2007 trip to Nevada.
It's a wonderful pig. He's a very striking Pantene.
Wow! Oh my goodness!
Really?
Yeah, really.
Want to bet which ones have changed in value? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 2.
This month in Passport on the PBS Video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
Europe is on fire, Franklin.
Nature is so resilient, and I think that's what inspires me.
It is pretty amazing.
The Black church has sustained the African American people from slavery to this day.
We are a testament to the goodness and the grace of God.
These and other shows are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
Masters of stealth. Leopards are solitary creatures. But this is no ordinary leopard. She is a mother, a force of nature, protector, provider, and teacher. And in this African adventure, she'll do whatever it takes to preserve her legacy.
A forensic pathologist testifying today for the defense team in the Derek Chauvin murder trial, saying George Floyd died due to heart disease, not excessive force by Chauvin. Meanwhile, hundreds have taken to the streets in Minnesota over the police killing of Daunte Wright. Nadia Romero is in Minneapolis with all the latest.
In my opinion, Mr. Floyd had a sudden cardiac arrhythmia due to his atherosclerotic and hypertensive heart disease, or you can write that down multiple different ways, during his restraint and subdual by the police, or restraint by the police.
George Floyd suffered a sudden cardiac arrhythmia on May 25, 2020. That, according to a forensic pathologist testifying for the defense Wednesday. One of the main pillars of the defense's argument is that Floyd's underlying health issues and the use of drugs caused his death, not because Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for over 9 minutes. During pretrial motions Wednesday, Judge Peter Cahill denied a motion to acquit and ruled Floyd's friend Maurice Hall will not testify. Hundreds took to the streets for a third night of protest Tuesday over the police killing of Daunte Wright. Initially peaceful, by nightfall, the tone of the crowd changed, with protesters throwing water bottles and other objects at officers, and officers firing pepper spray and flash bombs.
Many arrests for riot and other criminal behaviors. We have upwards of 60 arrests for people that will be booked into the Hennepin County Jail for various charges.
Earlier Tuesday, the officer who shot Wright and the police chief both turned in letters of resignation.
I'm hoping that this will help bring some calm to the community, although I think ultimately people want justice.
A charging decision could come Wednesday, the local prosecutor said. In Minneapolis, I'm Nadia Romero.
And a prosecutor did announce the charges today against the Brooklyn Center police officer who shot Wright. Kim Potter is charged with second-degree manslaughter. She shot the 20-year-old during a traffic stop Sunday afternoon. Before the shooting, you can hear Potter yelling, "Taser, taser," but then drew her gun instead and fired. Potter, a 26-year police veteran, was taken into custody Wednesday morning. There's no comment from Potter's attorney. As tensions reach an all-time high in Minneapolis, President Biden is planning to reduce the tensions a whole world away. The president announcing that the United States will begin withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. And after consulting with the United States' major allies, military advisors, and intelligence experts, President Biden decided that it was time to end what he called America's longest war.
The United States will begin our final withdrawal, begin it on May 1 of this year. We'll not conduct a hasty rush to the exit. We'll do it responsibly, deliberately, and safely. And we will do it in full coordination with our allies and partners, who now have more forces in Afghanistan than we do.
And while Biden has received his fair share of admirers for his hardline stance on the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, there are those in the Senate who disagree.
But the one thing I want to say is that President Biden, I respect him, but I completely disagree.
And during the announcement, Biden lauded former President Donald Trump's ability to begin the process of troop withdrawal, even though it's not how he would have done it. And COVID-19 predictions continue to look grim, but is there some hope in the form of vaccines? That story is still ahead.
And weather-wise, more gloomy weather is in store. Plus, could there be a major cool down in store going into the weekend? We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast, but first a look at stocks of local interest.
We were just trying to be scientists.
There's a playbook, and it was written by men.
You get used to being invisible.
Being left off an email, not being invited to a collaboration where you're the clear expert.
It was bullying.
How many great discoveries have just been lost to us because we didn't have the eyes to see?
Picture a scientist on Nova.
Masters of stealth. Leopards are solitary creatures. But this is no ordinary leopard. She is a mother, a force of nature, protector, provider, and teacher. And in this African adventure, she'll do whatever it takes to preserve her legacy.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 2. There are many more exciting appraisals to revisit from our 2007 trip to Nevada.
It's a wonderful pig. He's a very striking Pantene.
Wow! Oh my goodness!
Really?
Yeah, really.
Want to bet which ones have changed in value? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 2.
On Masterpiece.
It was a beautiful day in our life. Everything changed that day.
Hitler wants to make a move northward.
No way. You want to fight the Nazis, but you're telling the Americans you won't.
It's politics.
Europe is on fire, Franklin.
Atlantic Crossing on Masterpiece. Stream now with PBS Passport.
Well, I know no one was really looking forward to today's weather after a beautiful day yesterday, but unfortunately we did have it. We only hit a high of 63. That was our warm spot across much of the viewing area. The cool spot 56 in Parkersburg. Just an all in all ugly day with those rain showers this morning as well. Highs were all below average with the exception of the warm spot in Columbus of 63. The percent of possible sunshine today was 0. So just all in all, just grim day across much of the forecast area. We can see that on the satellite map. We're seeing those clouds clear out from west to east as our system starts to move away. But unfortunately, another system is headed for the area, and we can see it right here. This dip in the jet stream right here, that's going to move on down tonight. Bring in very chilly weather. Lows are going to reach into the 30s. We'll talk about that in just a second. And this dip right in here, that's going to be the weather maker for this weekend. And another system is going to come in for next week. Here's today's. This is the cold front that came through this morning. This little trough up here, that's going to strengthen into a cold front tonight. Bring in some cooler weather tonight. Luckily, though, the system that will come through tonight will be dry. A dry cold front is going to come through tonight. Clouds are going to hang around, however, and lows again bottoming out in the 30s. Just a very, very chilly night across the forecast area. There's our cold front coming in at about 11 p.m. This is one of our high-resolution models, one of the more accurate models out there that depicts the cold front coming in at about 11 p.m. tonight. So tonight's lows across the forecast area down to 38, mostly cloudy and cold. If you're going out and about tonight, bring your jacket. It's going to be blustery. Winds will not be an issue. However, winds will only be out of the west-northwest at 0 to 5 miles an hour. Those clouds are going to hang around as well. Across the area, temperatures generally in the upper 30s and lower 40s, 39 in New Lexington, 38 here in Athens, 40 down in Ironton, 39 in Jackson, 38 in Chillicothe. Again, mostly cloudy skies, mainly clear further back across the western counties of Franklin, Pickaway, Ross Pike, and Scioto counties, down into Lawrence County as well. We could see a little bit clearer skies as opposed to the south and eastern areas of the WOUB viewing area as that weather clears out. There's our cold front that passed through tonight. That's going to push on south tomorrow, going to bring cool weather for much of the eastern seaboard. Highs tomorrow will only be in the upper 40s and lower 50s. Look at this, just plain cold. 52, mostly cloudy, sweater weather tomorrow. So if you're going out about, do not wear shorts. Make sure you're wearing sweatshirt, sweatpants, maybe even a fall jacket. Winds will be out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy skies hanging around, so fairly gloomy weather throughout much of the day tomorrow. Highs across the area generally in the upper 40s and lower 50s with mainly cloudy skies. Cold front passes through, another system coming in for next week, and the below average temperatures are going to continue into next week. 2 systems are going to bring rain. Make sure you bring your raincoats. There's Saturdays and Sundays, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well. So just a plain ugly week coming out into next week. And here's that extended forecast: 58 on Saturday, 57 on Sunday, and rain continues into next week with highs in the lower 60s. Anna?
Thanks, Nicholas. The U.S. reported at least 75,000 new COVID-19 daily cases 4 times this week. This comes as the nation is facing another potential surge partly fueled by virus variants, like the B.1.1.7. John Lawrence reports.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says COVID-19 related deaths in the U.S. are dropping, but confirmed cases and hospitalizations are on the rise. That includes people in the 18 to 25 age group.
We are seeing these increases in younger adults, most of whom have not yet been vaccinated.
Before the end of the month, all 50 states are expected to make COVID-19 shots available to everyone at least 16 years old.
I'm hopeful that we can avert, not see this fourth surge, but we will see hotspots as we're seeing throughout the nation.
Pfizer is asking the Food and Drug Administration to expand the use of its vaccine for children between 12 to 15 years old.
They've shown that in these 4,000 or so individuals, 12 to 15, that the vaccine is safe. There were no adverse safety signals, and they were really effective. Actually, they are shown to be 100% effective thus far in the trial.
If the FDA approves the emergency use authorization, it would be the only one authorized for children that young.
First of all, we need them to get the benefit of the vaccine, but also it will help us to reach herd immunity a lot faster if we don't just have to rely on adults all to be vaccinated.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A new COVID-19 model from the University of Washington predicts more than 618,000 deaths in the U.S. by August 1st. But that number falls to just over 604,000 if at least 95% of the population wears a facial covering. But even as the COVID-19 death toll predictions continue to look grim, the U.S. inches closer to 200 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine being administered. Recent CDC data shows that the country is on the cusp of a milestone. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
A growing percentage of the population has received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, according to the latest numbers from the CDC.
In the last 7 days alone, the U.S. has reported administering nearly 22 million shots. That's more than 8% of the adult population in a single week.
And a milestone is now within reach. The U.S. on track to have half of the adult population with at least one dose by the end of the week, according to a CNN analysis of CDC data. 11 states have already reached this threshold, including New Hampshire, where 64% of adult residents have received at least one shot. But top U.S. health officials again urge Americans not to let their guards down.
Don't declare victory prematurely. We see so many pulling back on some of the public health measures, the mask mandates, the restaurant opening, the bars. We can't be doing that.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says that while risk will vary person to person, with current COVID-19 conditions and being fully vaccinated, he'd be comfortable eating outdoors in public or attending a baseball game.
I would not hesitate to go to an outdoor baseball game. I would wear a mask because I'm out there in the community. My risk would be extremely low, particularly if I wear a mask.
Fauci says breakthrough coronavirus infections in those who have already been vaccinated are inevitable because no vaccine is 100% effective, but says even if a vaccine fails to prevent infection, it often protects against serious disease. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Fauci also says so far data suggests current COVID-19 vaccines offer some protection against coronavirus variants.
Hello there, I am Jacob Murray, and coming up in sports, I recap this past week in Ohio athletics, covering the OU soccer team senior day. And also coming up, some crucial news for the Ohio women's basketball team out of their 2021 season. That is all coming up next, so stay tuned to WOUB. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
We were just trying to be scientists.
There's a playbook, and it was written by men.
You get used to being invisible.
Being left off an email, not being invited to a collaboration where you're the clear expert.
It was bullying.
How many great discoveries have just been lost to us because we didn't have the eyes to see?
Picture a scientist on Nova.
Now, it's even easier to stay connected with WOUB Public Media. Receive the latest news, watch your favorite programs live or on demand, and listen to podcasts or live radio everywhere you go using the WOUB Public Media app. And you'll get to carry me, WOUB radio announcer Robin Barnes, around with you all day. The app is available to download free on iOS and Android. Just search for WOUB.
This month in Passport on the PBS Video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
Europe is on fire, Franklin.
Nature is so resilient, and I think that's what inspires me.
It is pretty amazing.
The Black church has sustained the African American people from slavery to this day.
We are a testament to the goodness and the grace of God.
These and other shows are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
On Masterpiece.
It was a beautiful day in our life. Everything changed that day.
Hitler wants to make a move northward.
No way. You want to fight the Nazis, but you're telling the Americans you won't.
It's politics.
Europe is on fire, Franklin.
Atlantic Crossing on Masterpiece. Stream now. with PBS Passport.
Welcome back. I'm Jacob Murray. The Ohio baseball team came into this past weekend splitting their last series against Toledo, sitting at an 11-11 record on the year. The Bobcats answered this past weekend and had the best series of the season. The Bobcats played Eastern Michigan in a 4-game stretch, and Game 1 was a catalyst for the series ahead. In Game 1, they came back from down 3-1 with 5 runs scored in the 6th and 7th innings to win the opener 6-3. The doubleheader on Saturday was where the true fireworks took place. 2 games, 2 walk-offs. The first one on a throwing error that senior Sebastian Fabic scored on to take it 4-3. Then a 10-inning affair would end in a walk-off home run from senior Aaron Levy in the bottom of the 9th to take the 2-1 win. Sunday's matchup saw senior Isaiah Peterson nail a 2-run home run in the 7th inning that would be the difference in the 3-2 victory, securing the first series sweep of the year. The team is having fun with it, and interim coach Craig Moore talked about the big weekend series.
Proud of our guys. I thought that they played the game, the second game, with the right intensity and the right mind frame that I want them to play.
Baseball will be back in action this weekend on the road against Northern Illinois. The Ohio softball team played 2 doubleheaders this weekend when they took on the Toledo Rockets, and they had a tough time on the road. After splitting the first 2 games on Friday, winning the second game 10-7, the Bobcats played a tight one in Game 1 on Saturday, playing into extra innings. However, they would fall 5-4 in the 9th inning as Toledo's Leah Monson homered in left center to seal it. The Bobcats fell 9-1 in Game 2, and they will look to bounce back next weekend in Athens against Bowling Green. And it was senior day for the Ohio soccer team this past Saturday, and they were looking to end their regular season on a high note. However, the Buffalo Bulls had other plans. The only goal of the game came in the 29th minute when Buffalo's Marcy Barbaric scored the heading into the half, and both defenses played well in the second. The Bobcats would fall 1-0 and will be back in action next year for what they hope will be a more normal season. And a very quick shout out as well to the seniors for their hard work and dedication for the Ohio soccer team. Major League Baseball continues the start of their season with the Indians and Reds going 2 different directions in Tuesday night action. Cleveland won 2-0 thanks to a huge outing from reigning Cy Young winner Shane Bieber. He pitched 9 innings and struck out 11 batters and leads the majors in strikeouts with 35 as of today. The Reds fell to San Francisco 7-6 as both teams were connecting on hit after hit. Both teams scored 4 runs in the first inning, and Wilmer Flores had the game-winning RBI for the Giants in the 7th. Cincinnati and Cleveland will square off this weekend for the Battle of Ohio starting on Friday. And 2 key pieces of last year's Ohio women's basketball team are coming back for a 5th season. Reigning back player of the year CeCe Hooks and crucial bucket getter Gabby Burris will be returning thanks to last season not being counted toward eligibility because of COVID-19. Along with Hooks and Burris, the Bobcats returned redshirt seniors Erica Johnson and Caitlin Kroll along with junior Peyton Geis, making this team one of the more experienced groups running it back next year. The Bobcats will look to come back stronger than ever after falling in the NIT this past season with the goal of a MAC championship on their minds heading into 2021. And even though they have an extra year of eligibility, I do not have that luxury here at WOUB. So in the words of the late, great Kobe Bryant, Mamba out. I'm Jacob Murray, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Anna.
Thanks, Jacob. Well, the future is now. Some people are getting their pizza delivered by a robot. This week, Domino's is rolling out a robot car delivery service to select customers in Houston. Customers can get texts and updates on the car's location, and once the car arrives, the customer enters a code on a touchscreen, and the car doors open up where the pizza's waiting. No word on whether the service might expand, but Domino's Senior Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer says it will help them better improve robot deliveries. But Domino's isn't the first pizza chain to play around with this technology. In 2018, Pizza Hut announced it was working with Toyota to release a fully autonomous delivery vehicle. And you may have caught from Jacob's final sports there, this is our last show. All 3 of us are seniors at Ohio University, and this is our last broadcast for WOUB.
Yeah, it's been one heck of a ride. 4 years here, from Gridiron Glory to Hardwood Heroes to now here at Newswatch.
See this patio? There used to be a motorcycle sitting there, a bike I didn't use and didn't want. So I donated it to public television, and they took care of everything.